Hi, my name is Valeria Sargsyan, and my partner's name is Angela Gabriela Ferrer. We are part of Group 2, and we will be arguing against the use of steroids and hormones in food animals. So before we begin, let's learn some background history about this topic. So since the 1950s, the Food and Drug Administration, or the FDA, has approved a number of steroid hormone drugs for use in food animals. Beginning in the mid-1950s, diethylstilbestrol, or otherwise known as DES, and hexoestrol were used on cattle throughout the US, either as food additives or as implants. So what are hormones? Hormones are molecules produced by the endocrine system that send messages to various parts of the body. They travel through the bloodstream to tissues and organs and help them perform their functions. Hormones help regulate your body's processes like hunger, mood, growth, blood pressure, and reproduction. They are fundamental to all the systems of your body. There are two different types of hormones: naturally occurring hormones and synthetic hormones. Some naturally occurring hormones in people and animals are estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. People who eat foods treated with these drugs are not at risk because they are naturally produced in the human body. Synthetic drugs are mainly used to raise hormone levels or to add hormones which may not be naturally produced in the body. Some approved synthetic drugs are trenbolone, acetate, and zeranol. For each of these synthetic drugs, the FDA has a list of requirements that manufacturers have to comply with. What are steroids? Steroids are part of a large group of chemical substances classified by a specific carbon structure. Natural steroids are produced in the body where they use protein to build muscle tissue. However, it is a common misconception to think that steroids are used only to build muscle. Natural steroids can be used to increase enzymes like testosterone in a person's body. A few common examples of a steroid are birth control pills, estradiol, and progesterone. So, how are hormones and steroids used? The process through which animals are given these hormones are either they are formulated into pellets, which are consumed by the animals, or they are implants that are placed under the skin on the backside of the animal's ear. The implants dissolve slowly over time under the skin and do not require removal. This is why the ears of treated animals are discarded at slaughter and are not used for human consumption. The hormones are used to promote growth in animals, creating a larger, faster production rate. Hormones are not approved to be used for growth purposes in dairy cows, veal calves, pigs, and poultry. This is illegal and is regulated by the FDA. Current events and statistics. Using scientific data, the FDA established the acceptable safe limits for hormones in meat. The FDA is currently deciding whether to approve the sale of genetically engineered salmon patented by a biotech company called Aqua Bounty. If it is approved, the salmon would produce growth hormone year-round instead of in certain seasons like summer and spring. This type of salmon will be the first genetically engineered animal to wind up on your dinner plate. Genetically modified fruits and vegetables have been around for a while now, as we all know. Currently, the US beef industry is battling to win over global consumer trust. Global consumers are concerned with the hormones used in cattle production. This is making it difficult for the US to export beef. China has a growing middle class, which makes it the perfect place to import beef to. However, China also has trade laws in place that make it difficult to import beef that comes from treated animals. They are more careful with what their people consume. The FDA has approved estradiol, progesterone, testosterone, trenbolone acetate, and zeranol to be used in food animals. Anything else is considered very illegal to use on animals and should never be consumed by humans, as they could have dangerous effects to the human body.
Hi, my name is Angela, and now I'll be continuing our presentation on the argument against the use of steroid and hormones on food animals. A non-ethical aspect of steroid and hormone use. Although we use these animals for food, we should still treat them well while they are still alive. The welfare of animals who have been given steroids and/or hormones is very important. One important question is what happens to the hormones humans consume along with the meat. If the meat was safe to consume, then it would also be safe for pregnant women or cancer patients. Fetuses, infants, and children are more vulnerable to the hormone disruptive effects of exogenous hormones. Like any other drug, these steroids also have side effects even on animals. According to Business Insider and an investigation in 2013 from Reuters, they found that 15 cattle had been fed Zilmax, which is a stimulant, which had left them unable to walk properly. News anchor Tabitha Wallace stated that they showed up with their hooves either missing or basically falling apart. No matter how much the FDA tries to regulate steroid use on food animals, there are always people who break the law to make more profits. Cultural and sociological importance. For years, consumers and health advocates have fought to keep hormones and steroid use to a minimum. However, most don't feel reassured that the FDA is fulfilling their promises. Many shoppers have turned to organic products, but they have no guarantee that those products are indeed safer. Concerns over consuming meat with added hormones has grown over the years. Advocates fear that residues of added hormones in meat could disrupt normal hormone function in children, increasing health problems like reproductive abnormalities. Studies suggest that the sperm count of male children is 23% lower as a result of hormones. Breast cancer is a serious health issue, and more evidence is coming out about the correlation between treated animals and human consumption. As we stated, we are arguing against the use of hormones and steroids in food animals. Excessive use of hormones and steroids in food animals can cause health problems for both the animal and the consumer. As we saw before, Zilmax can cause an animal to not be able to walk properly. There is also always the danger of animals creating a resistance against the drugs, like antibiotics. That could cause mutations, and eventually diseases can break out as a result. As we learned in class, animals are carriers and sometimes the sources of dangerous diseases. Consumers also experience chemical changes to their bodies due to the hormone. The antibiotics used in livestock can transfer anti-resistant pathogens to humans through consumption, which is why pregnant women are always told to be careful and to read the packages of anything they consume. If they aren't careful, their child who was healthy before the consumption can be born with birth defects. Excessive estrogen consumed from eating meat can affect the male sperm count. Although the FDA says that it regulates every steroid or human use on food animals, there are still people out there who sneak illegal drugs into animal systems. Consumers have the right to feel unsafe because there is no guarantee that everything they are consuming is not harmful for their systems. Most of the time, the packaging on the food does not include everything that was included in the product. People with breast cancer have to be very careful with their diet. Evidence is accumulating to suggest that the effects of hormone-related factors can worsen the state of cancer patients, especially women going through menopause, since their body chemistry is already changing. Our opinion. Hormones and steroids are given to food animals in order to promote growth and create a faster production rate. Although the FDA has approved of some of the hormones such as estradiol, progesterone, testosterone, and zeranol to be used in livestock, there are still places that use illegal drugs on animals to promote a faster production rate and growth of animals. People who eat the meat from those animals can develop abnormalities in their system. Hormones are a very big risk factor for pregnant women and cancer patients. Male babies can have a lower sperm count as a result of too much estrogen consumed while in the womb. Animals can also develop a resistance to the drugs after many uses of antibiotics. This creates mutations in the animals and later humans who consume the animal. It can cause deadly viruses to break out. It isn't right or natural to use hormones on animals just for mass production and growth. It upsets the balance of nature, and that is when our problems begin to show themselves. We should try to be as organic as possible. As we stated before, excessive hormones consumed by both pregnant women and also young children can cause birth defects and abnormalities in growth. Too much estrogen and testosterone in children's bodies can cause them to enter puberty before their natural time. In our opinion, money should never be used as a motivation in food production because of the many health risks already caused by greed. The welfare of both humans and animals should be the top priority. The FDA should not focus on approving different types of hormones and/or steroids. Rather, they should focus on banning the use of them. They should only be used in cases which the animal absolutely needs the drugs to help it survive. The farmers that abuse the use of hormones and steroids should not only be penalized, but also be observed for further abusive tendencies. Here are our sources. I hope you learned something from this presentation and that you advocate for the banning of hormones and steroids in food animals. I hope you have a great day. Goodbye.